Would help if I actually put us up on stage. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Toon Review for this evening's Fan Forum. Thank you very much to everybody for tuning in tonight. It is your chance to have your say on everything Newcastle United, of course, with me, Paul Stato, and Billy. And, well, plenty to get through, of course. Newcastle United's form, the game tomorrow, Eddie's press conference. Were you surprised at what he had to say about Longstaff, etc., and the reasons he was playing him, or do you think it's a bit of a cop-out? He should have played the youngsters. He should have taken a chance on some of the youngsters and found out if they're going to be good enough in the future, and instead playing an injured Longstaff game after game after game, but not just subbing him off, keeping him on the field for the full game when we know he's injured. I don't get it at all. It's a bit of a strange one for me, but let us know what you think. The link is pinned in the chat, of course, as usual. You don't need a camera, just your microphone. If you don't want to put your mug on the TV, then you can just use your microphone, of course. The link, as I say, is pinned at the top of the live comments. Get yourself on and let's have a conversation about how you're feeling with everything Newcastle United. If you do enjoy tonight's show, guys, hit that thumbs up button. And, of course, if you're new and like what you see, do subscribe, free to do so. And, of course, hit that notification bell, which will remind you every time we schedule a live show or we upload any recorded videos. You can become a member. As usual, join button's just underneath the three of us. And, of course, you can donate to the channel if you wish to by hitting that $ at the bottom of the live comments, which will guarantee your comment to be read out on the show as well. Good evening, fellas.
Good evening to one and all.
Hello.
I may as well ask you two off the bat before we bring our first guest on. What did you think of Mr. Howe's press conference? We'll start with you, Alex.
Well, a breath of fresh air in terms of the right questions were asked, and we got some more answers. Whether that's because Howe felt like he just couldn't put it off any longer, or whether the journalist. I've seen the quotes for it. I've not had a chance to watch it.
Yeah.
But Eddie Howe's answers, obviously, mostly surrounding Sean, are quite interesting. With him saying he's got no other midfielders he could have played, and obviously. What did he say about Miley? He said, I've got to look after Lewis. He's only 17. That was the limit of what we got from him, which is fine. If that's his opinion, that's his opinion. We've got to respect that. Obviously, a lot of us disagree with that based on the performances we've seen. But I understand, he knows more than we do about the mentality of the kid and how he's developing. So it's not answered everything, and not everybody's happy with all of the answers. But finally, he's answered questions about all of these things, whether it's sort of Burn and the general situation, Longstaff. He's thrown out loads of answers about most of it. So finally, we've got something. We might not like all of the answers, but at least we've got something from him.
Billy?
Yeah, to me, we just drivel. I've got to say, you could agree with him up to and including the Arsenal game away that he had no one else to turn to. And even giving Miley a week off against Wolves would have been, I'd have been okay with that too. But to play Longstaff against Chelsea on Monday and then watch his performance and allow him to stay on the pitch for the whole of that time, after all the previous performances, I can only assume that his data's reading really good and he's still covering the same amount of ground as he would before. But surely to the eye test, you can see that the guy is suffering and he's not playing football to the correct level of a Premiership footballer. You must see that, and he must have saw it Monday. So to kind of keep him on the pitch for the full 90 minutes, when he had two midfielders on the bench, and to take the other midfielder off, the one that was pulling the strings, Bruno, I'm sorry, but that's just smacks of desperation to me, and it doesn't make any sense in any shape, way, or form to me.
Cynical Jim actually makes a very good point here, Billy. He says, looking after Miley because he's only 17. What about looking after Longstaff?
100%.
Because playing with them injured. I mean, injections are supposed to be for a couple of weeks, aren't they? And just to get them through to a certain stage. But he's getting them week after week. And look, I know people have come back and said, well, a lot of teams put injured players on the pitch, because they have to if they're carrying little knocks here and there. I understand that, but this isn't a little knock with Sean Longstaff. He's needed injections every single week to get him on the pitch. But he's also not bringing anything to the team when he's injured.
Absolutely. And I was the first to suggest
if it's just an injury. Yes, you were. But I'm saying it obviously he's not in great form either. But the injury could be playing a big part, and it's to the detriment of the team. And you don't play a player or keep playing him. And certainly not, he doesn't even sub him, Billy.
No. I could tell weeks ago, as I said, I've got a theory about Sean Longstaff. I think he's injured. Every time he goes down, he's holding his foot, ankle, etc., etc.
Yeah, you did.
And you know, and people have picked up on it since, and now we're getting the truth from it, which is good actually. Truth has come out, but still, it doesn't make the manager in a good light. People are saying they're blaming the medical staff for it. The medical staff don't pick the team; the manager does. Simple as that. The medical staff are clearly substandard to what Premier League sides should be.
Yeah,
they're shocking with what they've diagnosed with certain players. But at the end of the day, the bloke that picks the team is the manager, and you know, I'm afraid he's come up short with this Longstaff stuff. He's not treating him the best way, and we've seen it with other players that he's kept on the pitch while they've been injured. We've seen it with Gordon twice. You know, it's detrimental to the player, and
yeah.
Well,
the thing that gets me is right. He's mentioned Miley only been 17, but there's other players in the world who have been 17 and played loads of games. Jude Bellingham, for one, look how he's turned out. You know, and I know Miley and Bellingham are worlds apart when you come across quality, but I'm talking about an age player.
And it's a little bit different.
Well, Alex, you could say Championship is blood and thunder. It's even more physical than the Premier League at times. So, you know, he's been through... I'm not talking about quality-wise or anything like that. I'm just bringing up an age, you know, of similar players. And I just think, you know, saying he's 17, I think is a get-out for me. I would much rather have Miley on the pitch. He's 17. The kid's fit as a fiddle, man. I know when I was 17, I just wanted to be on the ice all the time. You felt really ready to go. I just think it's a bit of a cop-out. But you know what? We'll see what happens. I think as well, by the way, guys, that this thing about Longstaff has come up in the press conference today because he's able to leave him out tomorrow now and blame it on the injury rather than blame it on Sean Longstaff's form. I think he's got a perfect excuse now to leave him out regarding the injury. So,
or is giving him an excuse for another poor performance. You just don't know, do you?
Well, one of the two, yeah, absolutely, one of the two. I just don't know. It still feels a bit weird, to be honest. Let's bring on some guests, and we'll start with, I believe, a debut to the show. Anthony.
Place on January 31st.
How you going?
Bristol Crown Court.
All right.
Just give me a second.
Yeah.
Judge Mrs. Laura Cox explained that she felt.
Sorry, can you hear that?
We can hear that. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, good. Yeah. So, the Longstaff debacle goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your thoughts on it?
I think Eddie Howe needs to step up and sub him, to be honest, because he's not playing well at all. He hasn't been playing well for at least probably 50% of the season. And obviously the game on Monday night was obviously there to see. And like you said earlier on, I think the last show where he gave the ball on the touchline and he didn't track back to win the ball back. And for me, that is unforgivable. You can't do that, regardless whether he's injured or not. And I've played football from a young age, and I've turned my ankle and twisted it. And it takes a couple of weeks for your ankle to heal. It does swell up and it bruises. If he's done that, it takes a couple of weeks to heal, 2 to 3 weeks. So if he's done that, then this having injections in his ankles is a load of rubbish, because I just think it's a cop-out from Eddie Howe. And,
I don't think it's a couple of weeks old, this injury. I think it's weeks old. I don't think he recovered from when he was actually injured.
I know what I'm saying, Billy, is if he's done that at Bournemouth, and and what you said is when that ball hit his ankle and it's twisted his ankle. I've done it many times, and what happens when you twist your ankle, it swells up for 2 weeks. Yeah, it takes about 2 to 3 weeks for it to subside, and then you're good to go again. And if that's been 2-3 months ago. So for me, the ankle can heal in that time. So you're good to go within 3 to 4 weeks, or even 3 weeks. So I just think for Eddie Howe to come out and say, "Oh, he's been having injections in his ankle," I think it's a cop out. I really do. I've done it many a time, and it takes 2 to 3 weeks for your ankle to heal.
I mean, unless he's torn ligaments or whatever, you know, you don't know what severity the ankle injury was, do you?
Well, from what I've seen on that replay, when the ball's hit his ankle and he's screaming, it's just you just twist it and it bruises. It takes 2 weeks to subside down. So for me, I just think it's a cop out.
Yeah, that's what I said at the start of the show. I do believe it's a cop out. And look, the fact that he's playing with an injury is bad enough. Ryan, good evening to you.
Hey guys, what's going
Hi,
on?
Ryan.
How are you
Billy?
feeling about everything at the moment?
It's a bit of a disaster, to be honest. Like, can't really be happy about much lately. And I mean, some of the stuff Eddie Howe is doing with decisions, subbing off Bruno Guimaraes with 85 or 5 minutes left plus added time when we could have won the game. Still playing Sean Longstaff in this. Well, to be honest, like this whole injection stuff, like the only reason I'd give an injection to players if we have like a final coming up or we're playing games coming up that actually mean something. Like I'm sure Messi and Ronaldo have had millions of injections, but this is Sean Longstaff we're talking about. Like just have him on the sidelines and recover.
Well, the problem I have with it, guys, is that Eddie's come out and said that this is from Everton last season when he got that bad tackle. This stems back to then. Why on earth has something not been done about it? You know,
why did he play all the way through preseason?
Yeah.
He played game 1 of preseason at Gateshead away. Why would you do that? Well, I say away, same place, but still, why would you start and play most of the preseason if he needs time away?
Well, this falls back on the club and the medics.
Because at that point, Tonali wasn't banned, so he didn't know that he was going to be short. He probably could have just left him to recover.
But it seems to me that this needs surgery, and it's not going to go away very quickly, Anthony, is it? It looks like it needs surgery.
Nobody's going to know the sustain of that ankle injury. Nobody's going to ever know. So he can sugarcoat it all he wants. He can say he's been having injections, whatever. That's just all that's saying to me is he's been making bad decisions from week in and week out since from wherever he's had that injury. He's just sugarcoating Eddie Howe's decisions. That's all it is. Saying, because obviously somebody's questioned Eddie Howe saying, why do you keep playing Longstaff? Because he's not playing well. And he's coming out and saying, well, he's got an injury. We're giving him injections in his ankle and so on and so on. So for me, it's just sugarcoating Eddie Howe's decisions because he's not making the right decision. So for me, it's just a cop out because he has got
only crucial players deserve injections for me, not Sean Longstaff.
Well, look, I can understand him having a couple of injections just to get him on the field during a real bad injury crisis.
Yeah.
Gillian Watson, thank you for your super chat, by the way. There's no comment there, but thank you very much. What I was going to say, Billy, is, with the likes of Longstaff, if it's gone on this long, I understand what Alex is saying about finally Eddie's come out and given us some answers. But I think the way he's gone on about Longstaff has done nothing but rile up the fans.
Yeah, and he's posed more questions, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, if he did it at Everton last year, why didn't he have it operated on in the summer? I know it was a short and close season. Why has he played all pre-season? Why did he start the season? He got another injury then, didn't he? Potentially the same one. Can't remember what it was, but he was out again for a while. Came back, played again. Then done that thing at Bournemouth, and since then he's been absolutely dreadful. It's begging more questions for me. I just don't get it. I mean, he never gets substituted either, does he? Very rarely gets substituted. So he's playing for the full 95, 96 minutes, week in, week out, on cortisone injections. No, it doesn't sit right with me.
I agree with Billy when he said when I said to my son Monday night when he brought Miggy off, I thought, why is he bringing Miggy off for? Because we haven't got players to come on, and to bring Miggy off was it Anderson?
Yeah.
I'm thinking, what are you doing? Anderson isn't fit. He hasn't got the pace to get down that left flank. And then when he brought Bruno off, and I understand Willock because he's been out for a lengthy period of time. Understand that, but not Bruno. When you think about it, in December we had all them games. Bruno played every single minute of every single game in December, and he was fit as a fiddle. Players like Bruno he can be not physically fit, but he's just fit. That's who he is. Bruno can play every single game. Why bring him off 10 minutes before the end with obviously 6 minutes added on? Like Billy said, he's just thrown the towel in for me. And Bruno, last season, Bruno, he had a couple of injuries with his ankle as well. He twisted his ankle on a couple of occasions, but he still got through it.
The thing that gets me is Eddie said at the start of talking about Sean Longstaff that he said that he's been carrying injury for a few games. Then in the same sort of reply later on, he said he's been carrying it for a while since really Everton last season. So
Yeah.
what are we to understand about it? It's incredibly strange. And Tanguy says, don't forget about Longstaff himself. He could have decided himself to say he wasn't fit. He could have been transparent throughout the season that he had an injury.
I think you've got to be fair to him. Like, he started the season a little bit slow, and then once he found his stride, he did have that 6-week period where he was really good.
Yeah.
And I won't have a bad word to say about that period of time, because there was about 6 weeks where he scored against PSG. He was really solid. He was scoring. He was assisting. He was more energetic. His technique had hit a new level. He was really good for a chunk of time.
Yeah.
And then he got that injury, and then that never came back. He never got that form back.
That always seems to be the case, though. He has a period where he's good for like 6 to 8 weeks. Then when he gets injured, he just goes missing. He's been missing since December.
But what I'm trying to point out is the original question was, why hasn't he kind of stepped up and said that
he should have
he's
said,
injured? But this is why, is because there were shouts of England. There were shouts of him being a mainstay in this team and maybe trying to evolve into that player to maybe stay and be part of this squad. So maybe he was just fighting for that fact. You know, he's his own man. He was probably trying to fight for that. So you know, as a person, you can understand why he's maybe tried to fight through that, because he was on the cusp of, I've hit a new peak. There's talk of England, keep pushing, and then unfortunately for him, that looks like it's all faded away. But you get it.
I'm not taking any away from Longstaff, because I think as a player, we'd all want to be out there anyway. You hear players who are injured, they're desperate to be out there. So I can understand that. But the medical staff need to come under scrutiny here as well, because what are they doing? We'll come on to that in a moment, because got a super chat from Spike Milligan, who says the whole thing stinks of mismanagement and bad medical decisions. Jens Halver, thank you for your super chat. I'm quite shocked about this, and evening to you all. Happy birthday to me as well, 39 today. Happy birthday, Jens. And damn, I hope we can beat City. We can win it then. Yes.
You can understand Sean Longstaff to a certain point, because when he did come back, we were in the shit. We had that many injuries and not many players to fill the holes that were missing. So he stepped up to the plate there, thinking he can get through and you know, stop us playing a kid if need be. What he hasn't done is factored in the fact that he's just not playing up to his usual standard.
I do have a point to make, though. Obviously, the start of the season, Aston Villa. So we bought Toon Army. We're in the Champions League, right?
Yeah.
We buy one midfielder, Toon Army, okay? That's the only area that we've actually strengthened in the team, in the squad. So I know Stato loves ASM. He loves him. So we replace him with Barnes. So Barnes has just been non-existent for me this season.
Same injury record as Maxi, so we've just bought like for like, really.
Oh, but he was meant to be an
that's just been a waste in that area. So for me, he brings in Livramento, and this obviously Lewis Hall, which hasn't been playing. So for me, in the Champions League this season, we should be strengthening in depth, which we haven't. We buy one player, Tonali gets banned, which nobody knew about. So when you go back to the beginning of the season, we batter Villa. So everybody's on a high. So we've got a fully fit squad, only missing Willock. We go to Man City, and I was disappointed with the effort that all the players put in, because, yes, we only lost 1-0, but the effort in the lads, we should have done a lot better.
It was a horrible game. It was really bad.
With the summer, though.
We played Liverpool. We should have beat Liverpool because we had chances to beat them.
That was mentality, though. That was mentality.
But Stato, then we go to Brighton, and then we just get absolutely pummeled. So we had 90% fully fit squad, and we still lose 3 games.
That was mentality, though.
That doesn't have an excuse to say, you know.
But that was what we needed at the start of the season. We identified that as a weakness anyway. We didn't have the big game management, and we knew we were going to have to learn that this season, and we would get the opportunity to with the Champions League. And I think we did. We learned a lot in those Champions League games. They were really valuable for everyone in the squad. Coaching staff, players.
Yeah. So everything's just gone to shit since the Champions League.
Well, I don't think that's
all I'm saying is that if people want to keep using the excuse of we've had injuries, well, go back to the beginning of the season. Man City, Liverpool, and Brighton, we get beat. Brighton, we get beat really easily. Liverpool, we can have arguments and say, yes, we should have won. We should have taken the chances. But Man City was a dire performance. We should have done better because we had a 90% fully fit squad. We had, like say, Toon Army, Joe Linton. The only player that was missing was Willock. And it was Longstaff available at the time.
There's additional context to that. Like the Man City game was Phil Foden moment of magic and Alvarez that they won that game.
Yeah, I get the stat. I'm on about the performance of the team. We batted Villa at home.
Was a shutout for all of 3 seconds, and I know that the goals matter in football, but overall we managed to keep pace with City. We were in that game as the Liverpool one. We should have won it. But well.
Alex, against City, we didn't offer anything at the end of the
pitch. Those losses in that period of time, I don't think is comparable to what's happened in the last 3 months. This is obviously just a complete disaster. Yeah. And the summer transfer that you mentioned as well, I'm not defending it, but I'm just saying I think the club made a decision with the information they had. They tried to make the best decision. So they went, right, we've got a big campaign ahead of us. I know we need to strengthen the depth of the squad and the quality of the squad. However, there's 2 English fullbacks available for a reasonable price that we're going to need to try and future-proof those positions soon anyway. And they bit the bullet on those 2 transfers in Hall and Tino because they were available in that summer window. The club probably already knew that was risky, and they knew that if we had an injury hit season, it would be a disaster. They rolled the dice on it. Unfortunately, it's all gone wrong. But they made an informed decision with what they thought. They thought fullback's going to be really important for us in the future. Because if you look at the start last year, our fullback options were sort of Byrne, Dummett, Kraft. You know, they were all really old. So they made those 2 signings and hoping that it didn't all go completely wrong. And it did. So, yeah, obviously the better idea would have probably pumped 50, 60 million into players in better positions. But they gambled and it went wrong. I can't blame them for that because if we reverse it, we probably would have gone with similar decisions again because it's about getting the team. They're looking at 5 years, not this year.
Yeah.
Right. Well, obviously, I'm aware we've got other people coming on, Anthony. So, what's your prediction for tomorrow?
Thanks for your time.
What's your prediction for tomorrow?
I'd rather not say because I know you're not going to like it.
No, just say it, man. Just say it.
Well, look, there's 2 predictions. If we play like Chelsea, we're going to get battered 5-0. If we can put a half decent performance in,
4-0.
I think we'll lose 2-1.
Well, I know it's hard. But listen, Anthony, thanks for coming on.
I think we'll give them a game, but there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming on, buddy, and making your debut, and hopefully we'll speak soon again.
No worries. Thank you.
Thanks, Anthony.
Buddy. Good night.
Bye.
Right, we've got a couple more coming on here. Let's just stretch it. We got Peter, we got Chris, and Ryan's here. Obviously, this Longstaff thing has taken over, and Ash makes a comment here saying a 3-1 Bruno was took off because the risk of a yellow card was worse than leaving him on chasing 2 goals in 9 minutes. I can't agree with that, Ash. I think you make a valid point, and a lot of people have stated that. But for me, I think Bruno should not have come off because we scored that goal in the 90th minute. There was still 6 minutes to go
before the Murphy goal.
Yeah. So there was still time to get another goal back. So and risking the yellow card, I don't.
How's he going to get a book? We hadn't put in a tackle all night.
Yeah, but he wouldn't be banned for the FA Cup anyway. So I just think he's going to be banned at some point. Just
yeah.
It's playing. His game is going mental because of it. I don't know what you guys think. That's just the way I sort of see things.
It's like a locked animal. Like
actually, Bruno won one tackle.
I was a couple of weeks back. I said it. Just get it over with, man. Get suspended. Get it over with Bournemouth, with Luton, with Forest, and now we wouldn't be in that predicament right now. But I mean, the elephant in the room is obviously the Longstaff deal, man, and it's really unfortunate. We can talk about the beginning of the year, how and he was great, was he not great, whatever you want to say. But at the end, the fact of the matter is, at this point in time, he's not good. He's not good, and it's surprising. I mean, the only excuse would be the Bruno deal, but it's not enough, man. You're still saying that you gave up on the game. You know, it was 3-1.
Well, yeah, I mean, Billy's made that quite clear. Billy was furious at the time when that happened. Peter, what's your view on the Longstaff situation? Because, I think that's overshadowed the whole press conference for me.
Well,
it's overshadowed
the
game tomorrow. And again, it's mismanagement of injuries, which we've seen for so bloody long
press
now.
conferences.
He needs to take it out the team. You can't keep putting these rotten performances week in, week out, which I've seen in the past few games. You should be playing if that's the case. And this injury injection's crap. I'm sorry, if he needs a surgery,
he should have had it, or he should be having it now in preparation for getting ready for next season. And that's the same with Botman for me, because Botman hasn't looked anything like the player that we know he is.
That pass was criminal on Monday.
It was awful. But he's been like that for a while now, and he looks devoid of all confidence. He looks stiff. He just looks unfit. And I don't know what it is. I mean, Ryan, the game at Chelsea, the clearance was awful, but his performance wasn't great. I mean, he wasn't the only one. Don't get me wrong, but when you look at how much quality we've seen from Botman, it's clear that something is still not right.
Yeah, every time we're playing out from the back, he takes like an extra touch to play Dan Burn or whoever else is around him. He's just very uncomfortable. The clearance, of course, as well.
Yeah,
I just think that just drop him for Lascelles. I think Lascelles has been the steady Eddie, solid center back this season. He's been here for a while. Experienced. Eddie Howe yet again just picking underperforming players when, yes, Van Valmen's very good, but just take him out of the team for a bit. And also, if we lose against Man City tomorrow, don't be surprised if maybe someone like a Longstaff actually gets surgery, because then Eddie Howe will think, oh, there's nothing else to play for. Let's just have all these players deal with all this shit.
Like that? Do you honestly think that if we lose tomorrow, that he'll bin the rest of the season off by doing that?
It'll show off everything, because I mean, I think the season there's not much in it anyway. But I mean, the fact is, we're still in the cup competition. But if we do get eliminated, I could honestly see him being out of the squad and be like, "Oh, go to Dubai or wherever in the world to get your ankle fixed or whatever by the best doctors."
Yeah. Interesting. Chappers, thank you for your super chat. Question for Alex. As bad as Miggy has been lately, he's never injured. Can you look at his injury history? He's indestructible. I'm sure Alex will take a quick look at that now.
It's right there. He is very indestructible. Not very many injuries. What's that? 7, 8, that's 9 games missed in 3 seasons, and then 1 for Paraguay. So
I'll tell you what, he's not very
pretty bonkers.
He's not very good. But we'll move on from he's been okay the last couple of games.
Only availability was the best ability, but it's not in this case. Yeah.
I mean, Chris, talking about Botman, I mean, does he come out of the side tomorrow for you? Does he go with Lascelles and share? Is that a way forward to take him out the firing line?
Again, I would put 3 center backs, but that's just me being stupid. I mean, knowing that he's going to have a line of 4 in the back, I would definitely take Botman off, have a day off, because obviously, you got to take in consideration. Arsenal, he was horrible as well. In Chelsea, even worse. And then Blackburn, it wasn't good. So at some point in time, man, you're the boss of this team. You got to make a change. That's just if he would make changes every now and then to prove that the best player gets to play, nobody would be saying anything. But you can lose against City this weekend. Tomorrow that's kind of most predictions are going to say that. But it's the way you're losing against these teams that is the problem. So yes, 100%. I would. You have to give Botman time to rest. I guess I don't know. Playing back to back is too much for him. Same with Longstaff, but obviously, I would put Lascelles in for sure.
Billy, what would you do tomorrow? I mean, are you still, judging by on the preview? Lascelles has done nothing wrong when he's come in. I mean, yes, he made the error against Blackburn, but it wasn't the error that led to the goal. There was also terrible defending leading up to that goal at Blackburn anyway. But would you trust him against City? Because he's played a couple of times against Haaland and done really well.
Exactly. Yeah, he's done really well at the Etihad, hasn't he? In the 2 occasions he's played there. I'll definitely play him without any shadow of a doubt. I'd get him in potentially with Shah and see how we go with that. But yeah, they played well together, didn't they? In the week there before Christmas. So 100% I'd play Lascelles. Give him a chance, give him a game, and rest Botman at the same time. So you're getting two good things for the price of one. So absolutely.
By the way, Paul, sofa score of, because it's the day before, they've actually dropped their predicted lineup. If you want to see sofa scores for us,
Go on then. Let's have a laugh.
that's what they think we're going to play.
Oh, feck off. That's an unchanged side.
Apart from Gordon.
Apart from Gordon, yeah.
Since when does Murphy start left wing? And they think Holland's going to play for them. They think it's going to be like this, which is nonsense. I don't think.
Sofa score can go and eat my piles. That's ridiculous, man. If that's Jesus Christ.
I mean, Foden doesn't play right. Surely that's not going to be. Yeah, I think there's a lot of mistakes in here, but that's what they think.
What a pile of crap.
You know what this whole situation stinks of too is that this like underperforming players continuing to play. It just means player power and complacency creeps in. And what does player power potentially have for you? It gets you sacked.
Yeah, true. Peter, do you think there's Mason's there talking about atmospheres in the dressing room and things like that? Do you think there is a negative atmosphere? Because Eddie said in his press conference today that there's a positive feeling going into the game. Where is that positivity coming from, given our form?
You'd like to know, wouldn't you? Because, I mean, I'm still furious from Monday night. I really am.
Yeah.
It's the way we gifted Chelsea the goals. Mm-hmm. And the way we just sometimes, the way we were slow at times as well was just incredible. The way we were giving the ball away as well. I mean, it's not giving me any hope for tomorrow at all. So, yeah. But it's positive in the dressing room. I don't know where that's come from. Well, we're not seeing it on the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. Newcastle United 1892 says, are you telling me that you know more? Oh, here we go. Then tactically, than a Premier League manager that all the information on the squad is his disposal. No, and we've never said that. What we are fans of the football club who like to talk about our team and our tactics and the formations and the way we play and the medical stuff. Do you know why? Because we're fans of the football club. We spend a fortune on it and we are entitled to do that. Whether it be right or wrong, opinions may be wrong or right. Who gives a toss? But what we are is just talking about our football club. And none of us, and we always say this, none of us are a Premier League manager. Otherwise, if we were qualified, we would be. But we're not. We're fans. And technically, we see more than what the current manager does over the years. We're perfectly entitled to talk about the club like that. But we're not anywhere near Premier League manager status. Some people might think they are after doing well on Football Manager or whatever it be. They think they can do the job outright. However, what I will say is that's a load of bollocks because nobody here is a Premier League manager. We are passionate fans. And we get that comment so many times. So basically, any fan that goes into the pub after the game and discusses what we should and shouldn't have done are all in the same boat. So us as fans are not allowed to talk about anything to do with tactics, formations, or anybody who's taken the field for Newcastle. Well, what is the point of being a fan if we're not allowed to do that? Give our Ryan, what do you reckon for tomorrow? Then what you going for?
We're gonna get annihilated tomorrow. It's gonna be.
Oh, don't let him.
I'm gonna say 4-0.
Don't let Newcastle United 1892 say that. My goodness me.
Yeah, fans like him are still in a honeymoon phase of us getting rid of Bruce and Ashley still in bed. That's the only thing to be happy about.
Claire saying West Ham have Bayern, so could be out of Europe for the running.
Bayern
Munich are in the Champions League, aren't they?
Can I just point out how scripted all of that was, by the way? I'm actually a little bit angry at how scripted all the draws were. It makes me even more furious about the PSG penalty that they shouldn't have got, because they've done Barca PSG, which is obviously a famous draw that's gone in the last decade. You've then got Bayern meet Arsenal again, which is quite famous and has been a popular one in the last 15 years. Mm-hmm. They've brought they've cleared a path for Bayer Leverkusen to meet Liverpool in the Europa League final. They have basically just teed it all up, and I feel we don't want to call corruption, because I don't want to say that, but it's very, very, very irritating how it's all kindly lined up for those kinds of media fixtures, media-friendly fixtures that they can build up the narratives on. And it's not typically how draws normally work. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. Right, Ryan, predict the score for us.
I just said 4-0 Man City.
Right, well, we'll see. Thank you for coming on, my man. We'll speak soon.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Good night.
Cheers, mate.
Interesting. Pete, I mean, looking at the game tomorrow, if we are to win it, where do we win it? Where on the pitch are we going to win this game tomorrow?
Probably our attack 3 most likely, because our midfield's not looking great and defensively we're all over the place. So it's to try and see if our attackers can catch Man City's defence out. At this rate.
Well, I mean, look, if he goes with the same midfield as last week, which some people in the chat are actually predicting that he will, I'll be astounded. But I think we get battered with that midfield.
Yes,
I think we get absolutely smashed. And it could be a very, very long night, which I'm extremely worried about. Pete, are you on tonight?
Yeah, I've got my show tonight.
Right. Straight after this, guys, head across to PD Proudlock's channel for another night of laughs and sickness and, debauchery, really. But we'll see. Let's not go there. What's your prediction for tomorrow, Pete?
I'm going to be City, but it's going to be 3-1 City.
Well, at least we've scored. I think that's something to get excited about.
Is that just your first half prediction,
yeah? Yeah, absolutely. Right, Pete, take care. Have a good show, mate. We'll speak soon, bud.
See you, Pete.
So there you go. That was Peter. Let's bring in a couple of others now. Oh, dear. Rich Baxter. And we have, some kind of weird man from Qatar. Rich, we'll start with you. What's your thoughts on the Longstaff situation? And because it's just taken over, hasn't it? I mean, it's become a farce, this injury situation.
It's ridiculous. I mean, we've all seen it. Billy mentioned it ages ago, and we're all sitting there watching, going, "What on earth is going wrong with Longstaff? And why can't the 2 people at the touchline see it? Why can't they see it? Were they seeing something different to us?"
Clearly they are. I mean, Chris, what do you reckon the scene? I mean, we see Jason Tyndall often talking to Eddie Howe. A couple of shots of Graham Jones here and there, but what are they actually saying to him? Because they must be agreeing with him, because they're never really making him do anything different.
Well, that's the problem. That's the problem. And Mourinho said it one time. I want my assistant manager or coaches to disagree with me most of the time. That's what makes him make the right decision. If you have just yes people around you, that's the problem. There's no way that there's a commentator that said that we're not Premier League managers. There's no way that these guys that are surrounding Eddie don't know that Longstaff is not performing. There's no way. There's no way that, I mean, and so obviously that you must assume, well, 2 things. Obviously, they're either telling them, but Eddie's ignoring them, or that they all agree on the same thing just for the sake of having a job. I know that sounds hard, but listen, man, it's nonsensical. It's almost criminal and not fair to Longstaff to a certain extent.
Yeah.
At this point, because what else is he going to say? He's going to say, "No, I can't play." I mean, certainly he could do that, I guess, but is asking the player to say no. You're rarely going to see that. So I think it's putting him in a disadvantage for sure.
Actually, there's a very, very good point here from Ash. Says that there is one dude who went from FM to pro manager, and that was Will Still, of course, who's doing a really good job at the moment.
It wasn't directly from Football Manager. He did an interview on it. There is, however, a guy from Finland who is it Finland or Iceland? One of the two, some kind of land. He actually got a real offer from like 20 in-game hours of Football Manager. They actually interviewed him and gave him the job. So it has happened, but Will Stills was a bit blown out of proportion.
Well, there's Alex pissing on Will.
Sorry, I've got to fact check it. I've just got to do it. It's what I'm here to do.
Absolutely, but I mean, if Will still is watching, Will, you're doing a tremendous job, mate. Don't listen to that twat. Nick Rowley, thank you for your super chat. What's going on, Chris? Nice to see you here. Jens, thank you for yours. Alex, have you tasted a Perla Polish beer?
Perła from Poland. It's very good. Yeah, I'm on the Victoria Malaga tonight from Sainsbury's. Very good.
I'm going to have a nice glass of red wine later on, I think. Really enjoying the red wine. 19 Crimes, delicious stuff. Gary says you can carry 2 players if all the others are playing to a higher standard, but you can't carry what we're doing at the moment. Far too many not playing to potential. My uncle is a Premier League manager. Does that count? Oh, Premier Inn manager, sorry. No, I don't think that counts, mate. No. Absolutely. Bruno from Newcastle, Guardiola's priority from next season. Just seen this on Twitter. Jacques Talbot.
No, I mean he's just made that up because of the press conference. He got led into it was suggestive questioning. He got led into
that room has been around for donkey moons anyway, so it's nothing new.
Oh, I'm sorry, Paul. Did you just like fall short before you went to say Bruno's surname then?
No, I just didn't say it because I know that if you weren't on, I would have said it. But the fact that you're on and always try and correct me, even though you've been bollocksing up names for donkeys now and not me.
French names I'm not very good at. I've never hidden that. I get Billy to do the French names. Actually, you're not bad at French names. I just can't do them.
You've made a few faux pas there, Alex.
Yes, exactly. Well said, Billy. Mr. Camiani, we know you're a big fan of Sean Longstaff.
I love him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what did you make of Eddie's comments? Did it throw you a little bit, or it's something we've known for ages that something hasn't been right, but it's his form as well. Surely, it's not just the injury.
Well,
the injury doesn't make him pass a ball 2 yards to the next player, but pass it out to player. Yeah. Surely.
Well, it did look like it affected him for the last few weeks, anyway. But the biggest cock up was you've got an injured player. You know he's injured. You kept him on for 90 minutes. That affected the whole team anyway because he's not performing. So you've done 2 mistakes there. One, you've ruined it for the team by keeping him on. And the other one, you've risked it. That pain means there's something wrong, either a bit of bones or tissue or the cartilages around the ankle. I've seen that a million times at the club where I work. Mm-hmm. So that could be small surgery, you're out for 6 weeks and back, or something big and you're out for 6 months. Yeah. So medical team there again.
Well, listen, I know a lot of the Newcastle challenge. Chris, I know you've covered it on yours and we've covered it and about the medical staff and what should happen. But Rich, I mean, there's surely it's got to have an overhaul or a big, it's got to be an investigation somewhere as to what's gone wrong with our medical system this season.
Well, we already know now 3 occasions of players playing when they're injured. Isak, Botman, now Longstaff. How many other players have been playing injured that we don't know of? So we know of 3 major ones, and that can't be right. That surely has to be investigated. The PIF will not accept this.
Yeah.
And remember Gordon coming off with a boot?
Yeah.
And we thought that'd be him gone for a couple of months. The next game he's back on.
Joe Linton, for example. Do you remember what game was it where Joe Linton was injured just before the half?
It was the Carabao Cup game, and then he came back and he was knackered. And then Jacob Murphy, it happened to him.
Sunderland, he got injured before half time with his arse, and then come up after half time. We scored and took him off. Yeah. Why did they bring him on after half time?
Doesn't make any sense. Brian says, I'm going to defend that guy. Which guy? You don't take people who disagree well. That's why I just stay quiet these days. Brian, I have a right to reply. Whether I agree with the opinion or not, I will always reply. And if I think is something you said is wrong, I'll say it. But that doesn't make me right either. That's just my opinion. And if I disagree with somebody, then that's because that is my opinion. And if you want to stay quiet, that's fine. But
to defend Paul, the people that have been negative, the people that have been saying things that disagree with us tonight, the comments have been, you lot are just negative. So they've not been, if people would write proper comments about they think Longstaff was the right decision because of X, Y, and Z, we'll take it seriously and have a discussion. But they just go, you're all negative. Well, okay, bye.
Just throwing insults and things like that. It's a bit, I'm going to say something back, and so will the other guys. I always say we welcome people's opinions, and we welcome them all. So does that mean that just because I disagree with an opinion, I'm not allowed to have one?
There you go. Prime example, like 2 minutes ago.
Yeah. Well, GL007 can get back to his Bond films. negative. Honestly, some people just can't handle the truth. I mean, Chris, I know you've had issues on your channel with happy clappers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're all over the shop that you're just not allowed to have. And what has happened to football fans these days? I just don't get it. Because when we were all growing up and stuff like that, and even Roy and Billy back in the 1850s, everybody had an opinion. And we're allowed to say, oh, we were shite. This wasn't good enough. That wasn't good enough. But now you come out and say it, and there's a whole tribe of people come out with the bloody butterflies and flower hats to say everything's fine. What has happened to football fans?
Man, it's insane. And they know they can't argue with you. So they're going to use whatever it is that they see against you. Against me, they tell me I should stick to baseball, and just because I'm American and all that. But it's just
rounders, really, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I know, and that's fine. But the fact, like what Stato was saying is spot on. If you actually brought up an argument, then we can sit. Me and the Mighty Win disagree on 99.9% of everything, but we sit there and argue, and then after that, we go home and grab a beer. But it's some fans, and I really don't understand what they want to hear after we played like against Chelsea, against Arsenal, against Blackburn, with all due respect, and so I mean, what else are you supposed to say? It's just insane, man. I mean,
actually, Paul, you said earlier on. Oh, hey, Jimmy.
Oh, Jimmy.
Jimmy. Give me fried chicken.
I was watching my dog take a shit over here, so yeah.
But the squirrel's fucking.
Guess I got to deal with something else to deal with.
That's better than watching Newcastle Chelsea.
Well, I'd just like to bring this comment up because I don't quite understand it. Paul, you are free to talk about anything of the team that you support. That is the nature of being a fan. But while Howe tries to advertise Sean Longstaff, at the same time, you don't like that plan.
Yeah, that's your assumption. That's your assumption. You don't know he's advertising Sean Longstaff. You're assuming that. That doesn't mean you're right.
When has he ever said that he's advertised? I mean, how can you make that assumption?
Yeah, what did he say to advertise him? To me,
what's he trying to advertise him for? A storefront dummy?
Exactly.
He wouldn't get in any Premier League's midfield at the minute. So what's he advertising? His boots?
It's crazy, man. I don't know.
Oh, honestly. Bald Geordie says, evening all TTR. How dare you all comment about NUFC? You are horrible people. I'm going for a Ming City 2, Toon 3 share hat trick. Hey! I hope you're right. Jimmy, I mean, the floor's yours. I mean, what do you think? Here we go.
Congratulations. This is the last day that you will ever get an honest answer of Eddie Howe because it's completely backfired.
It did.
As much as the Amanda Steve Ruth, and now she's having to walk it off or walk it back. But yeah, I think this is. I don't believe it for 1 second. Sorry. I think this is Eddie's way of pulling Sean out of the firing line because players can take criticism, but I think as a local kid, this might be affecting him more. He's getting it from everywhere, and I think, quite frankly, it bothers him a little more than it would the average player.
Yeah,
you don't play you don't play somebody 90 minutes with it having to be shot up. Sorry.
Good point. Yeah. If this comment is not a piss take, I will eat my hat. This is ridiculous, guys. You are not Premier League managers. Eddie makes the decisions and believes Longstaff is the right player, which I agree with. Longstaff doesn't have good players around him, reducing performances.
Samuel Jackson, Sunderland.
Steve Bruce was a manager too.
He's got Bruno to his left and Trippier behind him.
And Willock. Yeah, Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah.
Alex, you are being negative, and it's only because you sound much cooler than all of us when you speak, and it's intimidating.
Oh, I don't know. We've got 3 Americans in tonight. We've got 2 of you, and I think we've got Josh backstage as well.
Yeah,
So
Josh
we
is backstage,
might get outnumbered soon. I'm a bit scared.
Yeah, well, let's bring Josh on and all. Let's go on a yank fest.
Nothing wrong with that.
JL007 says,
Hang on, did you say Yankfest?
He did.
Oh my God.
Be careful. That could. Let's make sure the Y is there. Not anyway. JL007 says you seem to get off bringing the CU. What's the CU? Am I missing something?
He must be Scottish.
He forgot to NT.
Yeah. I said. Well, I mean, listen. You're still watching, so you must get off on watching me. Anyway, let's move on. Josh, good evening or afternoon as it is over there in what looks to be sunny Philly.
Yep, good afternoon.
Is the sun shining in Philly right now?
It's a little bit sunny. It's kind of the way the light hits. It's more overcast, kind of London day.
You Americans are a bunch of bastards,
always
honestly.
sunny.
We haven't seen the sun for 6 months. Yeah, look at Chris there with his tan and his faded glasses there, looking like Joe 90. And there's Jimmy out on his porch. I mean, I know he's got a hat on, but he looks like a summer Santa Claus. And there's Josh sitting in a t-shirt. We can't afford to do that. Poor Billy, he's living in an igloo right now. His nipples could sink the Titanic, for God's sake. It is freezing here. Yet we bring all these bloody Yankee doodles on and the sun's bloody shining. It makes me sick.
But as long as they don't say soccer, then we're okay. That's just.
Well, I don't think any of them would do that. Josh, what's your thoughts on Longstaff? And be careful because we've got some of the clappers in the chat.
So, Longstaff, I can't defend anything, but I wouldn't say I'm as angry as everybody else. I'm probably more on that end. Because,
by the way, Samuel Jackson was joking. Good man. Sorry, Josh.
No, you're fine. I mean, again, his performances are indefensible and he needs to be dropped. But I think when you look at the larger picture of things, I know a lot of people don't like it, but I think last year getting Champions League was too early. And it's totally skewed everyone's expectations. If we did this last year and then did this again, I'm not saying we would be happy, but no one would be throwing a goddamn conniption fit about it. I don't think. I think all of this is about getting to Champions
Jimmy
League,
probably would because he's an angry man.
And thinking everything was going to go golden and this was going to be a Disney fairy tale movie. And now it's not, and reality has struck a little bit, and everyone's just really angry. And listen, I'm not saying I'm happy about it, but I'm just more like, listen, whatever happens at this point happens, and I'm more just like, I'm not writing off the season, but I'm more saying I'm reserving judgment on Eddie on everything almost till next year.
Can both not be true at the same time?
Yeah, I mean, the decisions that are being made, giving up on the game and playing a player that's
correct,
not playing well, that goes beyond any. Because all of us would be happy with a 7th spot, maybe 8th spot, European, maybe, and that would be all right. But the fact that the matter is, the decisions that are being made is what's boiling everybody's piss.
Absolutely. And that's why I'm saying if in the short term we're keeping it isolated to that, I fully agree. But I think there's a lot of people that are taking it much bigger. And that's where I get like, it's a fine line. I realize it's hard to say and everyone's going to have a different opinion.
It's the fine line that's got people annoyed. You two have hit the nail on the head. Is we are 7 or 8 points behind decent challenging for top European qualification. And we've lost that amount of points there or thereabouts because of decisions we disagree with on the pitch. So a lot of us feel like it was possibly preventable, and it's irritating because it was in our control, and now we're losing grip of that, and now it's not really in our control anymore, which is a shame because we could have done it.
I agree, and I think most people on here I don't think anyone's like a Howe outer, really. I know Eddie. I know you said Billy the other night. You've kind of turned. I know a lot of people are on the fence, and fair enough. I'm not saying I blame you if you are, but I just think it's amazing how quickly, like the same things in a nutshell that we once loved about him were not. We loved how he went to bat for everybody, even maybe painfully or stupidly so. And now that's the same things we want to crucify him for. And I'm not saying that he should defend Sean, but I'm just saying at least acknowledge the kind of duality of standards when the outcome is different.
Yep.
It's not too dissimilar to what happened at Bournemouth, though. I mean, I lived there for 25 years, so I know a lot of Bournemouth fans. And they're all saying to me now, you're now experiencing what we experienced.
Yep.
So he should have learned by now.
Well, yeah, he should have. Rich, before we let you go, what is your prediction for tomorrow?
May as well go 1-1 after extra time, and then we lose 3-0 on penalties because we need
fucking hell. Go through all that to lose 3-0 on penalties.
Of course.
Yeah, right. Cheers for coming on, Rich. Nice to speak to you, mate.
That's hard.
My first time. Thank
just
you.
won us a penalty shootout.
Good night, mate. What did you say there, Alex?
I said that's a bit harsh considering Dubravka's just won us a penalty shootout for like the first time ever.
Indeed.
Okay, 3-2.
Lawrence, good evening.
Hey, everyone.
I decided to go old school for the last 10 minutes or so of the fan forum, as obviously TTR Friday is back next week, but we will still be getting the fans on as well. Billy's going to try and make a mockery of our knowledge in quizzes and stuff. So we'll have it all back on TTR Friday next week. But we will be having integrated with the fan forum, so we will still get everybody's views. Lawrence, we may as well ask you as well. What's your thoughts on what Eddie said about Longstaff?
Well, you're thinking, well, why is he playing him if he's, not fully fit? I mean, yes, fair enough with Miley. You could argue, if he plays so many games at such a young age, he's going to get burnt out a lot sooner than he should do. But at the same time, Longstaff with his form, really, you say this even if he didn't have the injury issues, like if he was just off form, you just think, just take him out for a bit.
Yeah.
Just start Miley in games along with Bruno and Willock, and then your Longstaff just give him some time out the side to reflect and maybe come back in better after some time out.
Yeah. By the way, Alex, Ash says it's Ori Thoresen, who's the Icelandic football manager guy. And Ash, thank you for your comment before, saying that obviously, Ash had put a comment in regarding Bruno that I disagreed with, but I explained why I disagreed and we moved on. That's a proper football fan right there, talking sense, disagreeing, but agreeing kind of, just agree to disagree. It doesn't mean you have to throw insults or anything like that. It's just about opinions. Like I say, I may not like somebody's opinion, but you get the chance to put your opinion in the comments. So surely I get my chance to reply to that opinion, because otherwise, why are you putting comments in the chat if you don't want our opinion? But I might not be right. You might be right. But then again, you might be wrong and I might be right. Or you could be like Alex and always be wrong. So, your opinions, it's just the way things are.
It was opposite day today.
Absolutely. Roy, tomorrow's going to be a very difficult game. We know that. Is there anything inside of you that can see us sneaking a win?
Absolutely not.
Nothing at all.
Just pray and hope for a red card or a penalty and a red card or something. But
what do you make of my absolute crackpots of co-hosts predicting wins last night on the preview?
No, we're not going to win. I'm just going to be realistic. We're not going to win. It could be one of those games that South Korea beat in Germany kind of thing. It's not going to happen unless
wasn't that
we have a super game. We need a super game from us and turn up, and we need them not to turn up. That's the only way. And even then, they'll miss chances. And
does anybody? Obviously, I know where Alex and Billy are sitting, but is there anybody else on this screen who gives us any sort of a chance tomorrow?
Look, damn it, I'm gonna be the voice of reason.
Okay. Jesus is a first for everything. Go on, Jimmy.
Yes. Tomorrow's the day. Well, after the game tomorrow, we will forget about Longstaff, and everyone will be drunk off their ass because we will have the more experienced keeper, and he will get us through a penalty shootout.
Well, I'm actually terrified we win tomorrow because I have to shave my legs if that's the case, or wax them, I should say. And that
come on, let's do it then.
A very,
hell, you probably
very
need
painful experience. Well, they keep me warm in the winter, Jimmy. What do I say? I'm not as lucky as you to be sitting in the sunshine every day like you Yanks. Honestly, even when it's bloody winter over there, the sun still shines.
Yeah, but that's what Susan's for.
Let's not even go there, Jimmy. You'll have her to deal with if but let's not even go there. Lawrence, I mean, I'm going to ask you the same thing. I mean, what, as a Newcastle fan, is there any kind of inclination inside you that we might sneak a win, that something dramatic might happen in the game?
Not really. I mean, I'd maybe have given us a bit of a chance if it was at St James's Park, but not so much at the Etihad. I think, the only way we're really going to get a result, the fight's going extra time. If we somehow get a 90 minutes level, doesn't help. I didn't think extra time should be in football, but there you go. The only hope, really, all right, they've got De Bruyne missing. Because we could somehow win, and people say, "Oh, it's because Man City didn't have De Bruyne playing," even though in reality, Man City has still got plenty of quality even without him. We just got, only hope really is that they have an off day. We defend as well as we can. Bruno has one of his best games for us. Willock,
not a lot then.
So basically, basically, Lawrence, everything needs to go in our favour for us to get a win.
It's 10 out of 10 all across the board.
Yeah, absolutely. Harple made a good comment there, saying that Eddie Howe shouldn't just be judged when things are all sunshine and rainbows. It's when the shit hits the fan that you get, the true managerial prowess of somebody. And I agree with that. Last season, everything was going great. We finished 4th. He was getting a lot of praise. But I don't think he's managed this season as well as he could have, put it that way. But that's just me as a fan.
Chime in on that real quick, just because I think that might be a little aimed at me. Just all I'm saying is I don't think that we shouldn't judge him. I'm just saying I think he had a lot of credit in the bank, and I think Alex has said that at moments. Now, I don't know if he still feels that way. I don't want to speak for him, but
he's in his overdraft now. I think the credits run out.
Yeah, and I would agree. I'm about to start saying, okay, these are negative points, but I'm still saying so many of us said not all that long ago that he had a lot of credit in the bank and things like that. That's all I was trying to point out. I'm not saying don't have negative opinions.
Well, if that's the case, he's in his overdraft now, surely. Time is of the essence. Can somebody, Pedro, thank you for your super chat, but can somebody work that out for me? Billy, Alex?
If Alton get demoted.
If Everton get demoted, maybe. They were going for Longstaff, 50 million, 120 grand a week. They get demoted. They ain't going to be paying 50 million, 120 grand a week.
No, but it's what Newcastle have offered. They've offered Everton. They'll pay them that to take Longstaff off our hands.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, a weekend is what Newcastle have offered out on to take him off our hands.
For them to take him off our hands, yeah.
Yeah, so we pay them.
We wouldn't pay someone 50 million to take him off our hands. Ain't that bad? Close to
not that bad.
But on that previous point as well, it has given us an opportunity to see how he manages with his back against the wall. Because if
he meant Luton, by the way, he went Luton, not Everton. He went.
But if in this last 6 weeks, Tonali, Joe Linton, Wilson were all fully fit and could play, and we wouldn't have gotten to see whether he could manage. And obviously, he's managed somewhat. We've got some wins. It's some of it's worked, but a lot of it hasn't. So we've got the opportunity to see how he's been able to handle without all of his best players available, and it's. You're not always going to do well anyway when you're missing most of your best players, but I think he could have done it a lot better. I hope he's learned from this experience because it's not been great.
I fully agree. If I don't think he learns from this, that's a bigger problem because I still think this is almost unprecedented what he was dealt with how many injuries he had. I mean, it's literally miles ahead of what
we're on 1,400 days, which is the top in the Premier League for injuries. And then that doesn't include the Tonali suspension on top of that. So we are beyond a doubt the most injury ravaged squad in the league.
Yes, the injuries are a big point, but I think we've mentioned many, many times as well that, you know, you look at a couple of positions in the team that should have been different players, and he hasn't done that.
It's that as well.
I understand the injuries, but
it's both are true. You're right, and this is right. It's all of it.
Yeah. But I think what he did to Tino Livramento early in the season, I think was a disgrace, quite honestly. You know, him getting so many man of the match awards at left back, and then as soon as Dan Burns fit, he sits his ass on the bench. I think it's disgraceful, that move. And I think it would be disgraceful if he brings Trippier straight back in as well, because Livramento is outstanding. And it's all right saying, oh, yes, he's one for the future. He's one for now because he's an outstanding footballer. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, Lawrence, your prediction for tomorrow, bud?
3-1 Man City.
Oh, okay then. Right, thanks for joining us, matey.
Cheers, Lawrence.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night. Josh?
My head says 2-1 Man City, but my heart says 2-1 us because I remember Florian Lejeune getting 2 out of nowhere, and who knows what could happen.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was against Everton, of course, wasn't it, late in the game? Well, I'm going to have to push you on one result.
I'm going to go still optimistic. I think we can steal this.
Oh, interesting. Well, thank you very much, Josh. Get yourself back on,
easy,
and we'll see what the result is. Well, take care out there, man.
Yep. Cheers, guys.
Good night. Pedro says, thank you for another super chat. He says it was sarcasm. I know it was, but Billy couldn't read properly, so I know what you were getting at.
What do you mean I couldn't read? I couldn't read gobbledygook.
Well, the last bit wasn't really gobbledygook. You could understand that. Chris Lynch, thank you for your super chat. He says, we get nothing from the game. You have to be realistic. Maybe Eddie has a target on his back from supporters when we lose. Well, I'm still in the Eddie camp at the minute. But like I said, I want us to go out there tomorrow. And if we do lose with pride, lose with dignity. Don't bend over and take a sausage up the backside for no particular reason. Go out there, work your asses off, and let Man City know they've been in a game, even if City do win the game. Let them know they've had a tough battle to get through. Jimmy, what's your prediction, buddy?
Shootout. Win.
Wow. I mean, the positivity. Right, well, thank you for coming on, matey. We'll talk soon.
Cheers, Jimmy.
Okay.
You go and clean that shit up, buddy.
Bye, guys.
See you later, pal.
Okay.
Top man. I mean, he hasn't been on for a couple of weeks, and then the first thing he says when he comes on, I'm just watching me dog take a shit. That is just Jimmy down to a T. Absolutely lovely bloke. Chris, what are you going for?
3-0. 3-0 win for City. You got
City. I thought you were going to say the Newcastle. Then I was actually going to send you lots of verbal abuse there, but I'll pan it in. Yeah. Right. Thanks for coming on. Do you want to give your channel a shout, mate?
Well, just American Mags and then UFC Insiders. That's it. But thanks both for having me, and Billy and Stato. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're very welcome, mate. We'll speak soon, Chris. Take care.
See you later, Chris.
Good night, mate. James Andrews just sent in a super chat saying the only thing we're getting tomorrow is depression. Well, Billy, the commentary could be another counselling session, really, couldn't it? I mean,
we've been there before, though. We're experiencing it now, so we're used to it. We're well versed in it.
Yeah,
a few swear words here and now, and everything's good.
Yeah, absolutely. And then all the the flower pot men will come in again and send abuse at us for being too negative. Roy, what you going for, bud?
My heart goes.
No heart, no head. You go for one result.
6-1 City.
Oh, did I go for that? I think I went for that as well. I was about to slag you off there, Roy, but then I realised that I said the same thing last night.
That was my head, though. My heart will still get beat 2-1, but we'll give it a fight. But 6-1.
Yeah. Well, we'll see tomorrow. Right, thanks for coming on, buddy. Take care. We'll speak soon.
Cheers, Roy.
See you, mate.
Good night. Good night. So there you are. That is the fan forum over and done with. Takes a revamped position next week, of course, when TTR is back with us. And we will be talking all things football. It is a football-related TTR, not the old days of TTR, but it is a football-related one. But we'll have, obviously, we'll talk about various football stories. We'll have some quizzes, inviting you guys on as well, and we'll have some questions for you, some prizes to give away, all sorts of stuff on TTR Friday. Start the weekend the right way with a good laugh, basically, and hopefully cheer some Newcastle United fans up. Alex, you've turned your mic back on. Anything?
Maybe.
Actually, Billy.
Hello.
Alex last night. He didn't. Did you notice that he didn't wish a certain person a happy birthday yesterday on the show?
Oh God, yeah, he didn't, did he?
No.
Maybe he wants to sing it for him now.
Well, he might. I mean, but I think it's just incredible that Alex didn't take the opportunity to millions of people to wish certain person a happy birthday.
Who was it?
And the fact that you don't even know,
I genuinely have no idea.
Even worse.
Oh, I'm busy at work and doing the shows. I've got no idea.
Right,
Not
so
a clue.
Max's biggest fan doesn't know when his
your left
birthday was.
leg in, your left leg out.
Was it actually
in,
Max's
out,
birthday
in,
yesterday?
out.
You're wrapping it all up in bandages.
He's playing tonight, I think. Let's have a look.
Is he definitely playing? Because he went off injured the other week.
No, it was his. FB ref says he's 27 years old and 3 days.
Oh well, it was either yesterday or the day
This
before.
week.
But you didn't say it on the show.
I didn't know it was his birthday.
Well, that's a disgrace. If he's watching, I do apologise, Maxie. But your biggest fan has let you down, incredibly let you down. Josh says, thanks for having me on TDR Farm. I know I may be a little annoyingly optimistic, but I still think there's a lot to be happy for longer term. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, absolutely.
We're just three miserable twats, apparently, who can't say anything positive, but, crazy. But anyway, there you go. Alex, do you want to say anything before we finish the show? Because you turned your mic on and said possibly.
Well, I mean, you've ruined it now. I was going to say Matt Ritchie's going to score the winner, so...
That is the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for tuning in tonight. We really do appreciate it. Thank you for your super chats and memberships, etc. Mods, you've been brilliant. Thank you to all the guests on the fan forum tonight. Thank you for taking the time out and joining us for a chat about Newcastle United. Me and Billy and Alex, are you joining us pre-game tomorrow again?
Yeah, I'll be around. It was fun.
Yeah, so the three of us will do the half-an-hour build-up to the match, then the commentary from me and Billy. Alex, of course, will jump on at halftime and full-time for analysis as well. And then, obviously, you'll get the Patreon podcast and the YouTube match reactions. And then Sunday night will be the match review. So a lot to look forward to over the weekend. Can we dare dream of a Wembley place in the semi-finals of the FA Cup? We'll see when we join you. 5 p.m. we start tomorrow, of course. It's a 5:30 kickoff. Turn the commentary off on the TV. Watch it with us, but listen to me and Billy commentate. And we'll all enjoy it together, hopefully. But thank you very much, guys. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, and we'll see you tomorrow, 5 p.m. for the FA Cup quarter-final at the Eddie Howe. In the meantime, good night.
Matt Ritchie, isn't he like 50?
Come back and check out some green.